understanding financial freedom versus just being rich. There's a difference, and depending on your goals in life, the sort of lifestyle that you want, it might be financial freedom is a lot more attractive than just being rich or just being wealthy. So that's a discussion we should have. You know, you want to go out, travel the world, or do your own thing, follow your passion. It's important to understand how money works functionally for us, right? How we can make money work for us, or how we can work for money, and so on. You know, there's a lot to it. So the basic concept, welcome and much love here, by the way. Trav here. Made it to Vegas after 3 months in Hawaii, working on the farm, reflecting on that. I'm back to the format of the walk and talk. Came out here in the morning to get some sun, and doing a lot of preparation for these magic tournaments, spending a lot of time thinking and reflecting. And one of the things I've been thinking about is how important financial independence is for me, and how I like to be rich and wealthy, but that's not quite as important. And a lot of my friends have this mixed up, because I'll give you the basic definitions, but I mean, rich, you can say, is having a lot of money. I'll think about it as having a good cash flow coming in, because if you just have a fat lump sum, that'll be gone eventually. I don't know if you really think about that as being rich. Wealthy, you usually think about possessions, ownership. Like, I'm wealthy if I have a bunch of money in these funds, or I own these lands, you know, real estate, stuff like that. Financial freedom is a totally different concept. Financial freedom is freedom of time and freedom of location, right? You can spend your time how you want. You can do what you want with your time. The issue with being rich is it says zero about what you're doing with your time, right? For instance, if you're very rich, or you have this cash flow coming in, you may be working 80-hour weeks, right? Maybe you're in New York, you have this awesome investment or hedge fund or consulting job, and the problem is it's contingent on you working a lot of hours, or, you know, being in a certain place, and you're not going to have full control over time. So even if you're super rich, you're not financially free. You're not financially independent, right? And then maybe you can flip that richness into wealth and then go financial freedom. But even then, some of the issues with wealth are you can set up wealth to have cash flow, like you have rental properties and stuff like that. That's pretty cool, and that's something that I may do later. But if you don't have the cash flow, you're just going to eat up the wealth. It'll be gone, and then you're back to needing cash flow, right? Cash flow is key. If you don't have cash flow, you don't have financial freedom. You really aren't rich or wealthy, right? Wealth is also not necessarily contingent on working certain hours, but again, if you run out, then, or you don't have the time to invest, upkeep everything, then you're back to the grind, basically. So what is financial freedom then? Financial freedom can come with wealth, it can come with richness, but it doesn't have to have rich or wealth. So for instance, say you're making $1 million or millions, but you have so many commitments that are not necessarily your favorite, so much time wrapped up in being in certain places. You might even need to fly and be in certain places at certain times. Okay, well, financial freedom, say on the other hand that you're only making, say, and I say only because some of you guys make less than this, I don't know, say $60,000 a year, but you have almost unlimited time and freedom to go wherever you want. You know, maybe you have commitments, but they're totally under your control which commitments you get to choose. Which would you rather have? Would you rather have the million, but work millions, but you're working all the time? You know, you have your weekends off, maybe you're commuting there. Or would you rather have so much time, freedom of time and freedom of location, financial independence, but you're only making $60,000? Which would you choose? So for me personally, I would much rather have the freedom, right? So that you have good individual days. It depends on your metric of success. For some of you, money is the most important thing. For some of you guys, just having good individual days is the most important thing. That's more important for me, so that I'm free to pursue the things that give me passion. You know, I can go explore, try different things, see what makes sense, get into farming, get into activism through food and stuff like that. You know, I wouldn't have been able to do that if I was just rich up in New York, right? So the question for you is, which would you rather have, financial freedom or being rich? with a lower income versus much higher income, right? Question, what would you do? You can think about that. I asked a whole another video brainstorming what you would do. What would you do? Me, I would move to Hawaii and go farm. And I'm gonna do that once the commitments that I made, something like that. You know, it's not necessarily permanent, but it's what I want to do right now. I'm gonna do that after I wrap up the commitments that I made for Pro Magic for this season. Anyways, okay, how to get financial freedom. Okay, so there's a lot of other videos on here that I'm talking about it. I have a whole other channel you should check out. You can type it into the search bar at the top, how to internet better, and click on the channel. I've got weekly videos coming up through March 2018, possibly more. But there's multiple ways to get financial freedom. Again, you can flip richness into wealth, have rental properties, you have cash flow coming in. Maybe you need to check on the houses, the properties. Maybe you even hire someone else to do that, and then boom, that's one possible route. That's not the route that I've taken. And you know, it also can be precarious. There's certain setbacks that can happen. So even though I'm in this position now, things may change. I may have to readjust, spend more time, make more commitments. But for me, it's been more about creating an online business and then replacing myself in the daily process as much as possible by hiring in other people, making trainings, and so I can basically have people handle various parts of the business. And then all of a sudden, all I have to do is one daily check-in that doesn't take very long. Occasionally I'll spend a couple hours in a weekend revamping some stuff. But that's my time investment, and I've got this money coming in, freedom of time and location. Suddenly that I have financial independence, right? And that's the most liberating, most freeing thing, is ability, like, I can go where I want, and that's important, right? So that's one route. There's multiple routes to doing it, and it depends what you want to do. Another thing is, like, if you really actually fucking love the shit out of your work, you made a commitment to that, it's not super important how much you're getting paid as long as you're past the living wage, you know? So, I mean, it can look like I'm going to get financial independence for myself, and then I'm going to go out and do what I want to do. That looks about the same as I'm going to do what I want to do and monetize that. You know, that's what I thought at first as well. The problem with that is your interests change. You want to be able to juke if you want to go in a different direction. Like for me, I played Magic the Gathering my whole life. I'm very good at it, and I wanted to monetize it and make it my thing because I was doing it anyways. Well, it's gotten to a point where I don't want to play the whole year, especially not online and preparing for these tournaments. My interests have changed, right? So if I was totally locked into doing this for money, I didn't have my own business that was able to handle this, then I really don't have financial independence, because I can't switch it up and have the ideal days that I want. You know, I can't change my interest towards farming, right? I can't change my interest towards surfing and stuff like this. So those are a lot of things to think about. And I think this is one of the major keys and hurdles to living the life that you want. And it's one of the most difficult things, is attaining financial independence. However, an issue with attaining financial independence is just, it's not easy to do, and it takes a lot of time. You know, when I made it happen for myself, I was in this basement for 3 months. I worked really hard for 6 to 9 months of really not being independent, and taking so many phone calls and spending so much time making content. And I don't know, all that time was necessary, but it felt kind of necessary as I figured things out. But on the other hand, it didn't take that long. It took less than a year to really set it up to work for me like this. So things can change fast, and you have some setbacks and so on. But if you really are desperate for financial independence, it's not necessarily that far away, and it's possible. So question for you in the comments: what do you think? Would love to hear what y'all have to say down below. It'd be cool to hear whether you'd be rich or independent, what you would do with your time and money and what your plan is to get there. And if you need help, you can ask in the comments, or you can hit me up on Instagram or whatever. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Look forward to hearing what you have to say in the comments. Peace.